Let's do it. All right, it's 7:30 on this, what is it, Tuesday night? That means it's time to find out if you like it or not. I'm producer Chris, and tonight we're talking about why the ultimate marriage advice may just be plain wrong, all right? Think about what you think it might be. Plus the debate over micro-shifting. We want to know if you think it's working smarter or just slacking off. And to find out whether or not you think that, we have to help you join the conversation. So Jim, let's show them how to do it. You guys know we are streaming. There are a lot of different ways to do it. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave some comments in the chat. We'll read those coming up in just a little bit. If you're watching on our website or Fox Local on your phone and you want to join the Zoom room, I posted a link in my Instagram story, or you can just slide in the DMs. You see my Instagram right there. It's Fox5 Producer Chris. Speaking of Instagram, we have our broadcast channel. I usually post stories in there to get the conversation started a little early. We didn't do that today, but last but not least, if you're watching on the Fox Local app on your connected TV right now, if you're watching on Fox Local, you can grab your phone, make it a two-screen experience. Just scan the QR code or type in that meeting ID, 892-0982-4674, and you can share your hot takes. As always, keep your cameras on and your mics off until we bring you into the conversation. We'll check in with all our virtual co-hosts in just a minute. We're also going to welcome in our in-studio guest. It's Tuesday, which means it's time for Tony P. Tonight, the P does not stand for punctual, though, because he is running a little bit late, and it's probably because he's chatting with the team from the 7 o'clock version because he just wrapped up over there. In the meantime, while we wait for him, we're going to dive right into our first story tonight, and we are talking about what is often called the ultimate relationship rule. I guarantee you, almost all of you have heard this at some point in your life. Never go to bed angry. However, relationship experts, and you see the headline from the Associated Press right there, are calling BS. In fact, not only do they say it's counterproductive, they say it may actually hurt your relationship. One clinical psychologist from right here in Maryland told the AP that all that advice does is, quote, make sure that people are fighting when they are tired. Now, many relationship experts actually use the acronym HALT to describe the best times to avoid conflict. That's when you're hungry, you're angry, you're lonely, or tired. Instead, experts say you should acknowledge something needs to be discussed, hit pause, and set a time to come back to it. Tony P has made his way here.
Yes, I sprinted here.
I already told them the P does not stand for punctual tonight because we're running a little late, but that's okay. We are talking about the age-old relationship advice, never go to bed angry, because experts say it's wrong.
Yeah, no, I believe that.
Going to bed angry, do you like it or not?
Oh, I do not want to go to bed angry. First
You do
of all,
not want to go to bed angry.
No. I mean, because listen, I know what studies tell me, okay? Like studies are studies that can be framed in any way you want, depending on who wants that study done, okay? My view is, I can't sleep if I'm angry at somebody. Like I can't. It's kind of like how I feel with work, right? I can't finish, or I can't not finish a task before bed. I have to get it done. I want to get the situation resolved. We're in a good spot. Maybe we talk a little bit more afterwards, but I want to know that we are okay and we still love each other at the end of the night. So, no, I cannot go to bed angry. Never.
All right. Tony P cannot. He does not like this relationship. He likes the age-old adage or whatever it is. Christina's in the Lion Zoom room tonight. Christina, Eddie's not there with you, but going to bed angry, do you like it or not?
So we have like a hybrid solution for this. Hey, Tony P.
How we doing?
And our hybrid solution, so we have a rule. We have 5 keys to our 25-year marriage. And one of them is we sleep in the same bed even if we are angry. So for us, it's more like, okay, I agree with Tony P. We kind of come to a agree to disagree rule. And then we say, okay, we'll talk about this in the morning, but we still go to bed in the same bed. So we'll stay in the same bed. So I guess you can say we're half resolved
Okay.
at that point. So it's kind of like a hybrid.
Yeah, I
Solution.
respect
Me too.
the emotional maturity that it takes to be able to press pause in the middle of a fight, because I have struggled with that for a long time. David's in the Lion Zoom room tonight. This idea of never going to bed angry being bad advice. Do you agree with that? Or do you think sometimes you just got to chalk up a loss as a loss and go to sleep?
Let me couch my answer with the fact that caution people about taking relationship advice from me.
Okay.
But I acknowledge the conventional wisdom. I remember my parents had a similar rule for them. I'm okay with not doing that under a couple conditions. You know, one is both of you need to be secure enough in your relationship that you're going to survive this fight. That allows you to get some space. You know, like I would still say what is on your mind and what's in your heart, so you don't like repress it within yourself for that night. But it's okay to when things are said, but the problem is still not finished. Some problems take more than one night to fix, you know, or a long time. So it's okay to still be mad, you know, but like know that, be confident that you're still together and your relationship's going to survive this issue. It's just to find a solution, it's going to take a little bit longer than that when you're thinking better and both of you are in you know, better mood to discuss.
Allison, I don't know if you're anything like me. Do you ever have like kind of the argument replaying in your mind and the things you should have said instead while you're laying there tossing and turning because you did go to bed angry?
Absolutely. And I'm the type of person where I can't go to sleep. I can't walk away. I can't function unless all of my issues are resolved. And I think that's one relationship issue I've always had, because I don't let anything go. Like, we just can't walk away and be like, I'm mad. Like, no, come here. Why are you mad? And we have to dissect the full issue and break it down and make sure that everybody is on point. But definitely cannot go to bed or do anything else angry.
Yeah, Tony P, sometimes
Yeah.
I blame Hollywood for this, because I feel like they have romanticized those all-nighters where you like sit there and you hash out everything wrong.
What movies did this?
But those movies never show the next day when you still got to wake up and go to work and you're exhausted and you're still upset and you're even more upset because
There have
you're
been many
tired.
that have done this.
I know,
okay?
I'm saying the movies show that, as in that's the correct thing to do. And
right.
so we've all internalized that. These experts are saying, no, go to bed, get your sleep. You'll feel better, and you'll probably be more rational as a result.
Hey, when Harry Met Sally, there was like 3 days in between the fight and then the New Year's Eve proposal. Okay,
Yeah,
come on, this is not Hollywood. We can't blame Hollywood for all of our love expectations. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Some of us can. All right, next up, my way or the highway is the question, but apparently not for one mom when it comes to babysitting. Take a listen.
My take is basically, if you're watching my kid, you can do it your way. My baby has 3 sets of grandparents. They all do things very differently. As long as you're not crossing an explicit boundary that I've set that has to do with safety, I will not be complaining. My dad will send me pictures of my baby up 2 hours past her bedtime. I'm like, looks like you guys are having fun. I'll be like, oh my god, I hope my baby likes potatoes. And my mom will be like, well, she loves my french fries. And I'm like, hell yeah, sister. I'm strictly no screen time. But when Ruby's with her other grandpa and I get a picture of them watching a game, Ruby's cheering for the Rangers. Hell yeah, she is.
Hell yeah, she is. All right, so that's Lily Chapman arguing that when other people babysit her children, they can do it their way. She told NBC News that, quote, boundaries are good, but they need to be worth it. A lot of other parents in the comment section agreed. Some said they wished they could be so chill. So Tony P, letting babysitters make their own decisions about how to watch children. Do you like that rule or not?
Yes, because you know what? Like when you look at this whole thing, right? I mean, you have different grandparents. They parent differently, right? I had a lot of babysitters in my life, including my grandmother, and I learned different things from each one. Some tutored me, some taught me how to do different, just out in the world type things. As long as I'm not being disrespected, or my child isn't being disrespected, or there isn't a safety issue, or there isn't a situation where they're going against me as a parent and morally or a way to parent, go ahead and just like, have that different thing. Watch the Rangers or try different food. I don't think that's a bad thing at all, because helicopter parenting, at least from what I've seen, my mother was not a helicopter parent. She raged against that. She said to my babysitters, do whatever you want, just keep them in line.
All right. Allison, I know you're a grandmother, so if you're going to watch your grandkids, are there rules in place for the way you're supposed to do it, or do your kids trust you that you raise them and you might know how to do it yourself?
Yeah, they definitely, of course, trust me and still call me for advice. If there's something specific that really is like, no, could you please not do this? That's fine. But I'm not going to accept a list of rules. You don't need to do that. Like, if it's super petty, we don't need that, because, of course, the grandmother is going to give better than anybody else. But just too many rules can be too much. Just keep things simple.
Okay, understood. And David, are grandparents supposed to be there to kind of, spoil or be maybe a little more flexible than the actual parents might be?
Yes and no. Like different grandparents have different levels of trust. I look at the rules. There are some rules which are seemingly trivial but are really important. Like for my wife and I and our son, we like diet and routines are important. And if those rules are broken, there's worse consequences down the line. However, whoever's babysitting, whether it's a grandparent or not, we often give a lot of latitude in things like play and when to go out and leave a lot of like kind of big decisions up to the prerogative of the babysitter. But some of those rules, like the diet, like must be done in accordance with like strict instruction.
Yeah, it makes sense. And obviously a lot of different parenting styles out there, and as a result, you kind of sometimes run into these issues.
I like those boundaries, because diet and routine does have a health impact on the child, or has a mental health impact. So I love that just kind of clarification, having these are the standards, everything else is fair game. I like that.
Tony P., I know you just talked about this story in the 7 o'clock half hour, so I'm curious to get your take on it. You've heard of stay-at-home moms and dads, but what about stay-at-home sons? Welcome to, this is our introduction to Luke Parkhurst. He says he's living the dream, jobless, rent-free, and loving it. He's 34, he calls himself a stay-at-home son, taking care of cooking, cleaning, and chores while his mom works as a flight attendant. This is part of a growing trend of trad sons. These are guys who skip the 9 to 5 to manage the house. Luke says it's his dream job, and he's not alone. More young men are embracing this life under mom and dad's roof, including a recent Jeopardy champion who talked about his stay-at-home son role on the show. So Tony P., the stay-at-home son, do you like this or do you not?
So I've had an updated addendum to my statement online.
Well, tell him what you said at 7
So
o'clock.
what I said basically was it's a bad thing for young men. We have 10% of young men who aren't working right now, number one. We have a loneliness epidemic, so when young men are in the house, they could be watching YouTube and going down the rabbit holes. We don't want that.
Unless they're watching, do you like it or not, on YouTube, Fox 5.
But this is not a rabbit hole. This is a positive thing. But listening to kind of all that bad content. However, this trend of young men doing this might actually be a reflection of the tide shifting against kind of the red pill manosphere content where men should only be the ones working and women should be in the house. I kind of like potentially this could be kind of a trend going, a bulwark against it. So you know what? As long as it's healthy and again they're not doing YouTube all day and they're actually learning how to cook and clean. I also think it could be a great just like society trend if, for example, a young man loses a job, he's trying to find work, but he's doing that as opposed to staying on the couch all day. So I am a fan of that overall.
Christina, I would like it more. I understand what Tony's saying, but I would like it more if they went and found that as a job at maybe someone else's house rather than just doing it at their own, because now let's say that person wants to get into a relationship. What do they bring to the table?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think if it's a temporary solution, like they're out of work for a little while, like a lot of people are unfortunately right now, especially in this area in the DMV with federal jobs, etc. I can see that being a great help to a lot of parents at this time, like, oh, we can have a lot of help around the house. But if it's a situation where it's more like a failure to launch situation, like where they're just like, I don't want to leave this house, I want to stay here forever, then no, I don't think that's a good idea. But I do agree with Chris if they're able to find this as an occupation and make a business out of this and help people and be like a housekeeper for other people, then have at it. There you go. You created a business opportunity.
Yeah, training a generation of future house husbands. I mean, I'm sure there
So
are some
bad.
people
Yeah.
that that's not the worst thing in the world, especially if they don't want to necessarily give up their career.
Right.
Allison, what do you think? Do you like this or not? Stay-at-home sons.
Yes, I actually had a stay-at-home son. When my last child was born, his oldest brother came and he took care of him, and it actually worked out great for the family, and it also prepared my son for fatherhood. Now he has 3 kids of his own, so it was good training, and it also saved thousands of dollars for me having to pay child care.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
part right
it's-
there might be worth it alone too.
Right. I mean, well, it teaches men responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
routine, making sure things are kept up. I think the sad thing is, and for years we have totally discounted housework. I mean, it is.
a lot of work.
It's basically as hard as going out and doing a 9 to 5 or going
Yeah.
to an office. It is hard to keep the trains running all day. And you know what? If this can help make a lot of young men be better husbands and more appreciative if they decide to go back in the workforce,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for it, because you know what? We're turning the tide, and I kind of like that.
All right, you can keep weighing in on all these stories over on YouTube. In the meantime, speaking of work, let's talk about micro shifting now. You may not have heard the phrase, but when we describe it, it'll probably make sense. More and more people are doing it, though, according to the 9th Annual State of Hybrid Work Report. Now, if you don't know, it's described as, quote, structured flexibility with short, non-linear work blocks matched to your energy, duties, or productivity. That is a really fancy way of saying, basically, when you're inspired to work, you do it. Then maybe you take a break to do errands or house chores, etc., and then you go back and work a little bit more. So maybe non-consecutively, you're not just sitting in front of your computer for 8 hours a day, but you're getting the job done. Tony P, micro shifting. Do you like this or not?
Absolutely agree. Because you know why? Because it's feeding into our new attention span. Social media, media generally, TV, it's made our attention spans about this long. And it's hard to stay engaged for 2-3 hours at a time. So you know what? Do a little time blocking. Put into place, okay, an hour of work, 20 minutes of tasks. An hour and a half of work, maybe 10 minutes of tasks, maybe a break. And I think as long as the work gets done now in this generation, a lot of bosses don't really care if it gets done, at 5 p.m. versus 3 p.m. or not 8 p.m. at night. As long as you did the work and got the deliverable done, they don't care when you did it. So you know what? I like this. If it produces better productivity and just better quality, go for it.
David, do you think that this is, obviously this is a state of hybrid work report, and hybrid work makes this sort of idea of micro shifting a little easier. Do you think bosses will be more lenient and allow more people to hybrid work and do this sort of thing in the future?
I generally think so. And particularly the more innovative the workplace, as opposed to legacy and conventional. The newer, more innovative ones will be open to to ideas like this. But I agree with Tony P when he says it's ultimately up to getting the job done. Does the job get done and well and on time? And whatever, however your preference is to do other tasks in the middle of that, so long as the job gets done, fine. That works for a lot of jobs, but not every job. If you're a 911 dispatch caller, I don't need you taking breaks every, for an hour to go out and get Burger King or something like that.
Right.
911 just gets put on hold. So I mean,
Right.
there's reasonable adjustments you have to make depending on the job.
All right, I see Ryan Lynch in the Lion Zoom room. Ryan, welcome back.
Right.
Oh, Ryan, we lost you. Oh, okay, we lost
Oh, it's
Ryan.
odd.
All right, we'll check back in with Ryan in just a
Yes.
little bit. In the meantime, we are going to go to our first break, and coming up next, we're going to have a little food-based speed round for Tony B.
Oh, no.
Because we had a lot of different food stories out there today. So
Oh, boy.
stay with us. We'll grab those paddles. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Do You Like It or Not on this Tony P. Tuesday, our ambassador of quirkiness. We're going to talk a little quirky dating later in the show if we have time. Because
Please.
very curious to know what this man thinks about it. But we do have our paddles, which means it's time for a speed round. And this is a food-based speed round, Tony P. So I hope you're not hungry. I hope you guys already had your dinner out there. We're going to start off with Arby's because they have a message for chicken tonight. It's watch your back. Because the chain, which as we know, has the meats, just dropped their first ever steak nuggets. Ooh. According to Arby's, they are tender, juicy, hand-cut, bite-sized pieces of steak, seasoned with garlic and pepper for a bold, smoky flavor. Tony P., steak nuggets. Do you like it or do you not?
Love it. You know why? Because this reminds me of one of my favorite cuisines, hibachi, and they cut the steak up just like that.
Okay.
I want to see it. It's different. It's innovative. The marketing behind this is going to be fascinating to watch. This is why I love innovation and I love branding.
Tony P., when was the last time you ate at an Arby's?
I never have.
Oh, come on.
But,
let's see. Is Ryan in the Lions Zoom room?
I know, but
is Ryan Lynch
great.
back
This
in the
is a
Lions
great
Zoom room?
idea.
Ryan Lynch. We're talking about Arby's steak nuggets.
Yes.
Do you like it or not?
We got the meat!
Yeah, you do. When was the last time you were at an
Yeah,
Arby's,
steak-
my friend?
Last time I was at Arby's was probably about a month ago.
Okay,
nice.
I
yeah.
got the curly fries.
Yeah, of course you did. I got the roast beef.
You got the roast beef. I used to get the
Sorry, I was
roast
quoting
beef.
Putty from Seinfeld there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Good one. Good
and
one.
Tony's never been. So right now we
I
know
liked
another
it.
thing to add to the list of dates that Tony P and I are going to go on.
Oh,
And I'm
that
gonna
could be
take
a
them
show.
To Arby's. All right, next up, a Michelin star restaurant in Copenhagen. You got to travel for this one, serving yogurt made with ants. The unique dish was made by a group of scientists, but it actually follows a traditional Bulgarian method of yogurt making. Who knew? The recipe calls for putting 4 live forest ants into a jar of warm milk. Researchers say the bacteria, acids, and enzymes in the ants can kickstart the fermentation process. They say the yogurt tastes slightly tangy and has flavors of grass-fed fat. So Tony P., ant yogurt, do you like it or not?
Not only do I not like it, I'm putting this thing upside down. How much I don't like this, okay?
Yeah, that's a sign of distress from Tony.
That is just, I'm distressed by looking at it. I mean, look, I don't want my ants marching on my food,
Dave
okay,
Matthews.
to use, Dave Matthews reference. And I like the song, but not marching on my food. I don't like grasshoppers in my salad. I don't care if it's French cuisine. I don't care if it's Michelin star. I got 9 Michelin stars. I don't like this stuff. The foo-foo stuff I don't like. I like things that are simple, okay? Let's not
I'm
have
gonna-
ants in our food.
I'm going to make it even easier. I
on.
don't like any yogurt, period.
You don't?
No.
Not even like regular, like, you know, like,
No, it's a consistency thing. Anyone in the Lion Zoom room, show of hands, is going to eat an ant yogurt? Anybody? Show of hands. All right, I get a thumbs down from David. Christina's shaking her head. Freddie's got a thumbs down. Ryan shaking his head. Nobody is. We're moving on. Next up, the American tourist who learned the hard way that his favorite Italian, air quotes, Italian dish isn't something you can actually order in Italy. Take a listen.
It doesn't exist in Italy.
I don't know what it is. On the pasta.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
yeah.
Wow. Look at that. That does
No,
not.
that look good, but
It does look good. It tastes good. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna mail you some. I'll send it to you.
okay.
All right. I'll do it.
Olive Garden cheese. I'm gonna
Olive
search
Garden.
it to show
right.
some more Italian.
All right, in case you didn't see the caption, my Boston Irish father trying to order a Google image of the Olive Garden chicken parm while in Italy. Luckily, Tony's Boston brethren did end up finding something he enjoyed. So Tony P., ordering American dishes overseas, do you like this or not?
I knew that guy was from Boston the minute I looked at him. Okay, like he looks like one of my uncles. I have Donahue on my side, so I will tell you, I absolutely love the engagement. I love the interaction.
Oh, come on.
However, okay, there is this disconnect between Italian-American cuisine and actual Italian cuisine. Okay, there's a big disconnect. Biggest thing I would say, and I haven't been to Italy yet, but I've been counseled. Before you go over there, and you don't want to look like you're uneducated about things, do your homework. You cannot make the one-to-one comparison between an Olive Garden, even though I love my my minestrone soup with the nice free breadsticks. I love that. The OG is fine with this Italian here, but
All right.
I got to be respectful of my brethren overseas.
All right, anybody in the Lion Zoom room, show of hands. Have you been to Italy before? Lion Zoom room, show of hands. All right, Ryan's raising his hand. Ryan's been to Italy. Ryan, did you go in with an expectation of what you were going to eat, and then were you shocked to see what were actually options on the menu?
Well, you know, southern Italy, northern Italy, totally different foods.
Yeah.
So when I went to southern Italy, they were forcing seafood on me like crazy.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest seafood fan, so northern Italy was fantastic because that's where you've got the gnocchi, and I love gnocchi.
Okay, he loves a potato-based pasta. David, how about
Tasty.
you? Similar situation?
Let me tell you, I feel bad for people who have eaten Italian food in America and not Italian food in Italy.
Yep.
Way different,
Yep,
and
that's what I
so
heard.
much better in Italy. You need to go. Need
Oh.
to go just for the food.
I'm dying to go. Now, is it more about like the freshness, or is like the marinara sauce a totally different flavor profile? I'm really curious about this.
Number one's the ingredients. All the
Okay.
ingredients are fresh. They're not processed. They're natural, and it's so smooth going down. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But some of the dishes there. Well, look out for if you go to northern Italy. It's pumpkin ravioli.
Ooh.
It doesn't sound great, but man, I tell you, the best dish I've ever eaten in
Beg
my
to differ.
entire life.
That sounds pretty amazing. You know,
I'm
the
in.
other beauty thing is you spend so much time walking, it's not the same as
Exactly.
sitting and
They're
eating those
healthy
processed
over
carbs
there.
here. All right, I want to get to this one before we go. We're moving past the food.
Yes.
Thank you for playing along with our speed round. Movies have the Oscars, television has the Emmys, music has the Grammys, and now Instagram content has rings. The Hollywood Reporter says that the social media platform will launch its own award that recognizes creators on the app. Spike Lee, Mark Jacobs, and Instagram head Adam Mosseri will be the judges of the program, where the top creators will receive both physical and digital gold rings. The categories will cover a wide range of topics, from fashion and makeup to sports and entertainment. Tony P., Instagram Awards, will you be applying for one?
Yes.
Like it or not.
I finally have my own category that I can
Yeah.
pursue. Because creators, we kind of are in this ether. We're chasing views, we're chasing likes. If I get to chase Spike Lee's approval, yes.
Okay.
Because he's one of my favorite directors. I'd be honored to have him look at my little mini talk show I'm working on my Instagram platform right now. And I'm just honored and blessed that they did this, because it gives creators at least like a thing to kind of work towards creatively, as opposed to trying to chase the algorithm. So, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Finally.
Christina, at that point, I want to jump off of the idea
Like
of
it.
not chasing likes and views necessarily, but trying to put some creative thought and effort into that reel or whatever it is. Do you like that?
I love this. I think it brings some significance to the creator effort that we take, to the time we take, the effort, because it takes a lot of time to really
Yes.
put work into coming up with new content all the time. If it's on the podcast, on Instagram, etc. So I applaud this. I think this is great. I think this could raise the caliber a little bit, and it's not about the algorithm. It's about humans that are looking at it and saying, you know what, this is actually really good content right here. So
There are
yeah,
a lot
I like
of
this.
truly talented people
Yep.
out there on social media. We're out of time. We're going to talk about the quirky dating over on TikTok right after this. But for producer Jim, I'm producer Chris. Tony P., thank you so much for joining us. Thank
See
you,
you, my
everyone
friend.
in the Lion Zoom room. We'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Tisha and Fox 5 at 8 is next.